you actually do it better in the sequel? When you do it again, do you do better?
Oh yeah. Because the first time's always like fast when I watch a movie. Like I always kind of uh
You watch on one and a half.
load. Then I have a little bit of a mess on my hands when I watch these movies too fast.
Yeah, but when you go back, you can really analyze and dissect.
I can
the
really
film
analyze,
Yeah.
take my time. I don't jump the gun too quick.
Your film stamina is at a higher level.
Well, there you go.
Right.
On that note, welcome back to Not a Strong Start, a movie podcast by filmmakers who talk movies, television, and perform better on our second viewings. I am your host, La Raza.
I am Jose.
that's
Ramos.
yeah. Jose is Latino themed already. Just saying Jose. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a Jose too. I'm Jose.
You're Jose. You're
I'm
Jose.
Jose is as Latino as it gets, right there.
I'm Jose Luis Mayon Rodriguez.
Yeah.
So-
Is there more Joses or Jorges that you guys have come across?
or Juan.
Oh, it's always Jose.
It's always
though.
Jose. It's
Yeah.
Jose. If
I
you're
mean,
gonna
all
pick, like,
throughout school, there was a minimum of at least one Jose in my classes at all times.
in every
Minimum. My company right now has maybe like 3 Hispanics, and 2 of them are called Jose. So it's like I literally, you know how many times I've gotten emails at work and I read it and I'm like, this makes no sense. I'm like, I think you sent it to the wrong Jose.
You're like, I think this email's in Spanish. I'm like, I don't.
Do you guys like when you guys see other people with your same name, or do you size them up like I'm the better version, bitch?
No, I'm ready to Highlander this shit when I see another Jose.
Yeah.
There could be only one.
It's the reverse osmosis. I want to absorb them. There's only one Daniel. There was like, we had to fight other versions of our names. Chuck's would be the shorter one because there's not as many. I would have like a medium size. Jose's would be like a fucking trilogy. He'd
You'd
have
be
a
an army. You'd
trilogy.
be fighting an army. You'd be like fucking Neo fighting all like the Smiths.
So in case if you guys haven't gotten the theme of this one, we're going to be talking about Latino actors and how they paved the way for Latino filmmakers. But first, we're going to hit it with a current event.
But they're going to be rebooting the Naked Gun movies. And those are old. I haven't seen those in a long time.
Wait, Liam Neeson's in The Naked Gun?
Liam Neeson will be the new lead in the reboot of the Naked
I tried to
Gun
do it
series.
again earlier. I was like, what?
What?
The Naked Gun?
Whoa!
Yeah. So two questions I pose to you guys. First of all, how do you feel about the Naked Gun and that type of comedy kind of coming back? Because we don't really get that type of comedy these days. And then how do you feel about Liam Neeson filling those shoes?
I'm pumped for it, dude. I think he can do it. And he can pull it off. Especially because he does so much serious stuff that I think it's going to be fun. Because Leslie Nielsen, dang, their names kind of sound alike. Liam Neeson and Leslie
That's why
Nielsen.
he got casted. It was no other reason. They were
Literally
Yeah.
just for that.
He wasn't necessarily like a comedic guy, or was he? Well, he did Airplane, but he did
Oh,
some
yeah,
serious
yeah.
stuff though, right? Like,
No, I think he was just comedy. As far as
Really?
I knew, he was just mainly comedy. Yeah.
can we pretend that he
Yeah.
wasn't because it fucks my point up?
Okay.
I mean, because they had 33 and a third of those movies. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leslie Nielsen did nothing but serious movies before, and then he did The Naked Gun, and it was like, whoa. Same thing for Liam Neeson.
I like the original Naked Gun movies. They were good. I rewatch them every so often. The clips are so funny, man. Leslie Nielsen is like a comedy goat. Like he is so good on there. He's solid, man. It's odd that Liam Neeson is doing this because he's such a dramatic actor. We've seen him do comedy and it's funny, but that type of comedy is so different. So I would assume they're taking a little more of a serious take on it with still a lot of comedy, but the tone has to be a little different, right? Because like his comedy timing is not, it's not Leslie Nielsen.
Well, it was good because he did that one comedy, Schindler's List. He did that one, and his comedic timing was so good. It's called Cold Pursuit. It's so good.
yeah,
Watch
that's
it.
the one. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one with the trucks and the thing.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
Never heard of it. Never heard
Yeah.
of that movie.
It's a must watch.
It is a must watch.
Because one thought it was a straight comedy, the other one thought it was so dumb that it might be a funny comedy. I'm sold,
That
guys.
movie's
I'm
just
sold.
straight cold. No, it'll be interesting. It's hard to picture Liam Neeson doing that slapstick type comedy, so it'll be interesting in that aspect. Maybe he's been holding out on us, and he's had that in his utility belt this whole time. But then Neeson, just to see that type of you have to go all out if you're gonna do a Naked Gun. That's what made those movies, is that over the top like comedy. And the closest thing we've had to that is those like weird dumb parodies that they do of like like the ones that try to imitate scary movies and
superhero movie. They did a superhero movie one.
Yeah, but they take like 5 titles and mix it into one, and then they just do stupid things.
Wait, this is surprising that we haven't even done this topic yet. We're
kind
a
of
podcast, dude.
Yeah.
It kind of is. We're 3 Hispanics. We've even talked about this so much on Twitter, and like we've done nothing with it. It's like, why? When Jose brought it, like, hey, this is gonna be our next episode idea. We're like, how the hell did we not do? How are we like almost 40 episodes in and we haven't even done this yet?
We're like, we're a Latino podcast. Yeah. We do this. We've posted stuff, and we haven't did anything on Latinos.
All we said was Winnie the Puto, and that was it.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We were gonna do a Guillermo del Toro one though. We just got pushed, and then just like Mexicans in the industry and Latinos, dude, they just get pushed aside, and we did it to our own people, dude.
Did it to our own people, man.
You know what? I have a reasonable, legit, completely BS reason for us holding off. And it's that we were waiting. We didn't want to waste this. We were waiting to get a good enough following so that a bigger audience can hear our thoughts on these great Hispanic actors. We didn't want to do it with 20 subscribers.
That's true. No, wait till we had over 1,000.
Totally legit reason.
At our rate, since we're losing them lately, which we should be there back at 20 in like a couple of weeks.
Dude, YouTube is glitching us again, man. Damn, YouTube.
Or maybe we were waiting to get so big, we were actually going to have Guillermo del Toro on the show.
To talk about himself.
To talk about himself, yeah.
You hear that, Guillermo?
Yeah, he heard. He's watching.
Please return our email. Please. Thank you.
Please eliminate the restraining order.
Please take off the restraining order. Thank you.
Yeah, we have our cabinet of curiosity to have you on our show. Huh? All right, guys. So let's get into this. So what we want to talk about with this one. We're not going to talk about up and coming Latino actors. We want to talk about the pioneers that paved the way.
The OGs.
The OGs, because we're living in an era now, or at least right now, the Latinos are starting to get some love. You know, with what they're doing with Black Panther, we're starting to get some love now. We're now being represented in the MCU. That is huge. We're being represented in the MCU. We're starting to get a lot more Latino eccentric films that are starting to come out, thankfully, which means we, my friends, have an opportunity of movies in Hollywood. So it's only right that we showcase this, but we wanted this episode to be a props to the OGs that pioneered this and paved the way when hiring Latinos was not popular. So
yeah, this is the list of the ones that Hollywood had on a notepad anytime they needed a Latino. They're like, all right, where's the list of 7? Let's find a Latino in there. So we're covering.
Yeah. Is Lou Diamond Phillips on that list?
He's an honorary mention.
Yeah.
They drafted him to their side in the ethnicity draft that they did. They took him.
We lost him for a little bit, but all right, guys, you guys want to get into the first one? Very first
Let's
actor.
Do it.
All right, Benicio del Toro.
Boricua.
He's a chameleon, dude. He can play anything. He can play a fucking white guy if you wanted to, dude.
Yeah, he can.
He's Javier Rodriguez, dude, from Traffic. But my favorite role from him is I think was it Dez or something like that from The Usual Suspects.
Fenster.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. It's probably the first thing I saw him in. They do the lineup like in the fucking thing, and they're like, "Give me the keys, you cocksucker." Give me the He's like, "Give me the keys, you cocksucker." What the fuck? English, please. Excuse me, dude. He's the fucking best, dude.
That was all improv, man. They did a lot of improv.
Yeah,
in that scene right there. And I think he was the one that farted, right? Wasn't he the one that farted? And they all started laughing.
No, he just said, "Huh," like because he did.
Somebody did. one of them farted in there and it was improv. They all started laughing and they kept it.
I don't think that made the movie. Dan, you.
Yeah, I don't know. Was that BTS? I saw a clip on
that's
it.
just what you wanted to see.
There's
Dude,
farts in every movie, man.
Dude, you.
Yeah. What happened is when Dan watched it, someone in his house farted, and it coincided with the people
And
on
then
the
they all
on the
started
movie
laughing.
laughing.
It
He's
was
like,
me. Did you guys hear that? Did you hear that? And it's just me looking in the mirror.
I'm part of the movie.
Just a little background. I am very sensitive to those jokes and stuff, and Dan will fucking send me this shit or send it on Instagram, like all these fart jokes and memes, and I'm just like, dude,
Got
I don't like
him.
these jokes, dude.
Everything resorts to a third grade humor. It all does. Butt face, still funny.
You know what I forget about Benicio del Toro? I always forget like one of his first movies was in Pee-wee, like Big Top.
Yeah. Play the
Yeah, what was
Wolfman.
it? Yeah. I always forget like
Big Top
that was
Pee-wee.
one of his first
He was
roles.
like the dog or something, right? Like
Yeah,
a dog man.
yeah,
he was like a
yeah.
Wolfman dog boy or something. Yeah, I think it was a dog boy.
Yeah, Wolfman Top Boy. I believe that's accurate.
Yeah, that was a full name. But yeah, that was in Big Top Pee-wee.
Yeah.
That was the very first thing I ever saw him in. He was great in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. He was so good in that role. Sin City. I liked him in Sin City.
I was reading up on Benicio, and a lot of the first roles and stuff that he was like offered, this might come as a surprise, but it was a bunch of thugs and drug dealers. That was pretty much what he was getting offered in the 80s when he was coming up. So I know it's surprising. Don't know how he was going to be able to do those roles, but that was pretty much all he was getting before he got taken a little more serious. I feel like we should mention that he is an award winner. He did get
Academy Award. Yeah, Traffic.
Yeah, Best Supporting for Traffic. So definitely got to give him his recognition for that.
Absolutely.
Oh, and give him recognition for banging Scarlett Johansson in the elevator in one of those award shows.
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yes.
All
yes,
right,
he
well.
did. Yes, he did.
I pay attention to farts. Chuck pays attention to elevator. Yes. But it did though.
But it happened, and he gets props for that.
Absolutely, he does. Next actor up, Javier Bardem.
He's good. Obviously, he's good at what he does. I remember I think he started off doing exclusively Spanish movies in like Spain. I remember reading that.
Most do.
Yeah, but I remember reading when he got offered his first English role, he didn't want to do it because he didn't feel that confident in his English. Luckily, like it took so long for the movie to happen that by the time they were ready, his English had gotten better, so he was able to take it. But yeah, he's one of those. He hasn't done as much in like US Hollywood as like a Benicio del Toro. But when he's done stuff, he's always going to be strong in his scenes. Yeah. And I think even though I'm not the biggest fan of that movie, my favorite performance from him was in No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
Won an Academy for that too, right?
Yep. Yeah. And I saw that like psychologists looked at a bunch of different, serial killer movies, and they said his was the most accurate. That representation he did. I like No Country for Old Men. Coen brothers, shout out. They did a great movie. But there are a few things that I didn't like in it. But overall, the movie was great. It's great acting, man. And it's still really good filmmaking. I mean, whether you like the movie or not, you still appreciate the Coen brothers. But
I like.
He also, he did the movie Mother, which is Jose's second favorite movie of all time.
Yeah. Dan actually owns it. He bought it. He bought the DVD.
I did not buy it, but I do own it. Somebody on this podcast bought it. I do own it. Yeah.
I've never seen that movie, dude.
I'll let you watch. I'll let you borrow it.
It's okay.
No, you really need to watch it.
I don't want it to be out of your collection and it'll look all fucked up. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Every time Chuck tries to return it, Dan just shuts off the lights and closes the shades.
I got your movie.
Yeah, and you just see me, you're like, Dan, I can see you through the window. And I'm just
like,
staring at you.
I'm not home, dude.
I'm not home. Go away.
He does a good villain because besides No Country for Old Men, I did
Yeah.
like his villain I think it was Skyfall out of the
Yep.
007
Yep.
movies.
He
He
did
played a
really good.
really good villain. So I would love going forward to see him in more villainous roles because I think he plays that role very
Yeah.
well.
He had the teeth thing, right? In Skyfall,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Where
The
he
whole
took out.
thing, like his whole mouth kind of came out,
Yeah.
didn't it?
Yeah, it was so
Yeah.
weird. So creepy, man. I love how they always do in 007. They always give the villain a physical deformity.
And shout out to Javier Bardem for banging Penelope Cruz.
Yes. Major shout out, who we're also going to be talking about in a little bit.
She'll get a shout out for banging Javier Bardem.
They both get shout outs. Okay. Next person we have up, Michael Pena.
Yeah.
The Michael Pena, the one guy that you always see that says anytime Hollywood needs a new Latino actor,
Oh yeah.
Michael Pena.
He's on speed dial for like
He is.
Hollywood.
Love that guy,
Ant-Man.
dude.
Ant-Man.
And no, I know him from The Shield season 4. There you go. That's Michael Pena. I got nothing else to say. Legend. He's on The Shield. Legend.
The Shield actor, Michael Pena. That's how
Yeah,
you always
Shield
say it.
actor, Michael Ant-Man. No. Shield.
The Shield.
Yeah, when he gets introduced, and from The Shield, Michael Pena.
And he's like, hey.
Season 4, played Army.
And you just see him just throwing up the floor.
What is he? Is he Mexican? Or
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he's
right.
Mexican.
Oh yeah, with that face, he's Mexican.
I think with like Michael Pena, kind of like Benicio del Toro, he's someone that we've seen a wide range from him. From straight comedy to more serious. He's done different types of roles. Something I was reading about him is since the characters that he plays, they tend to go away from the stereotypes and the typecast that we do. So he'll play characters that are smart or like really funny, or good, like family men, things like that, the non-typical stuff. So he always, one of the first things he does when he gets cast is he makes sure that the writers like give him a real Hispanic name to his characters, because he wants to show that like, hey, here's another Mexican or Hispanic character that's not your typical just drug dealer and violent and all of that stuff. So I think that was a good aspect that I did read about him.
Good, yeah. He did great movies. Crash was one of his first big ones. Obviously, Oscar winning Crash. We're not going to talk about whether it was worthy or not of winning it, but we're just going to say he was in a movie. He had a prominent role in an Oscar-winning movie, and good shout out for him. He was in American Hustle, Ant-Man. He also did a lot of good TV shows. Like he was in Eastbound and Down. I liked him in Eastbound and Down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was good in that. Yeah, he did. He was good in the movie Observe and Report, even though the movie itself, Observe and Report, was not that good.
You didn't like that movie?
Good. No, not really. It came
Oh,
around when Paul
it.
Blart came out. I actually liked it better than Paul Blart.
I was about to say that you
Blart.
chose Paul Blart over Observe and
Hell
Report.
No. Hell no. Hell no.
Dude, the movie's so good. He played that. He got like a jerry car. He's like, He's like, you went in my pocket.
Coming down the escalator.
He had like a list.
Yeah.
That was
he was the highlight.
Movie.
He was the highlight for me. That movie.
Do you remember that part? Sorry, I was able where they Ray Liotta's gonna tell Seth Rogen that he didn't make the Academy, and his cop buddy hides in the closet, and so he starts telling him, and he starts like crying. And the guy walks out. He's like, I actually thought this would be kind of funny, but it's actually kind of sad. So I'm gonna get out of here. And he like walked away.
That ended up being a dark comedy.
Yeah, it's a dark comedy for sure.
I think for him, a movie that I feel I feel it's underrated, and it was one of my favorite performances for him was End of Watch.
Yeah, he did good in that.
He was good in that.
Yeah, him and Gyllenhaal, right?
Yeah, that was a good movie. Yeah, that was a disturbing movie. It was good.
It's very underrated. Not too many people talk about it, but it was a really good movie.
Yeah, and touching on that, his drama is not heralded enough. You know what I'm saying? Like his comedy obviously is, but the dude can act. He's a really solid actor.
You know, he had a really small part, but it was pretty good in The Lincoln Lawyer with Matthew McConaughey. He was wrongly incarcerated, and he was like a regular dude, like, get me out of here, man, get me out of here. And then McConaughey goes back to visit him 10 years later after he was wrongfully imprisoned, and he's straight thug at like 10 years later being in prison, and he gives a pretty good performance. He's like on screen for like 5 minutes, but it's actually pretty good. So
Nice.
That shows something to the talent, because he has a bunch of just like minor roles on his like resume, but he's never just like fades into the background or forget about. Like he usually
yeah,
owns the little bits that he has, even if it's like a TV series where he's there only for one season or an episode. You always remember his performance.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's go to a female. Let's go to Salma Hayek, the Mexican goddess Salma Hayek. So who wants to start off with that one?
I feel like Chuck should start this one. The smile on his face that he got when you said you didn't even get the full name, just that.
He's ready to go. 1, 2, all right now. Let's go, check.
the hottest representation of a female ever in the history of cinema. I don't even. What is it, Dan? What is it?
From Des Hold On.
Yes, exactly.
But see, we all were Quentin Tarantino when he was drinking the beer off of her foot.
Dude, I mean, she's come a long way as an actress. You know, I mean, I think her first kind of big role maybe was like Desperado.
Desperado was the first thing I saw.
That was her
right?
first one.
Okay, yeah. And and then she got better and better. She got nominated, right, for like Frida?
Yeah, she was nominated for Frida.
Yep,
she didn't win, but she was nominated for that.
Mm-hmm.
I think they showed her boobs in that.
They did.
Yeah,
they did.
Would have taken it too, even with the unibrow. Yes.
You know what? Keep the unibrow. Let's do this.
I feel bad. I'm just talking about how beautiful she is. But no, she really has come a long way, and she's done a lot of things now. Has she directed too? I feel like she has. Has she?
I'm not sure.
No, I'm not sure about that.
No,
but you are right. She has come a long way, because she started off just like Mexican soap operas, and she became big in Mexico. It's funny because like she had a fan base, she was popular, and then she left to the States to act. And I guess her fans were so upset, they started to spread false rumors that the reason she left is because she had an affair with the president and his wife was now after her, so she had to escape the country. So that's how like popular she become. And then when she came to the US and she started doing acting, pretty much everything she was getting offered was, again, don't be surprised. I know it's going to be shocking. Was mistress maid and Latin prostitute was pretty much all she was getting offered. I know, shocking. Until I think she did like an interview, talking about that and basically her disillusion with Hollywood, and Rodriguez saw that and was impressed by her, and then that's what he brought her on for Desperado, which was like her first feature opportunity. But since Chuck, you already chose Dusk Till Dawn, I'm gonna have to go with Desperado as one of my favorite performances of her. With maybe a little Fools Rush In there.
Yeah, Fools Rush In. She was really good in Dogma. She did good in Dogma, man. She did good in that. And of course, we
find that movie anywhere. I have it on DVD, but they don't show it. It's not on anywhere, dude.
No, they really don't. I wonder if
you don't hear much from it.
Yeah, I'm really not sure why they don't show it. It didn't get as much love. It was that was kind of like when Kevin Smith kind of hit his brick wall. You know what I'm talking about? And then his career kind of took like a left turn, because he was heralded with Clerks, Chasing Amy, then Mallrats. Well, Mallrats was considered a financial hit, but the fan base still liked Mallrats. I still liked Mallrats. It was when he did Dogma, like that fourth one, because it was like a super expensive. He had, all the big actors, and it kind of took like a hit. Let's talk about Antonio Banderas.
I will start off with a very interesting tidbit that I have about Antonio that I had no idea. So when he was acting over there in Spain, he got arrested multiple times. I think it might have been 3 for acting. Because he was doing theater, and I guess the play that he was doing was controversial, and it was against political censorship. And 3 occasions he was arrested for acting. So that's how Antonio Banderas was kind of starting off his career, like trying to stick it to the man. But I mean, he's great. He's had a long career. You know, I saw him recently in this like action movie, and while the movie itself wasn't great, he was entertaining. Of course, Desperado and Mariachi, still one of my
Oh, yeah.
favorite roles
Yep.
of his. Uh, but like I feel he's adapted over time. I remember reading that like early on when he was doing one of his first English movies, he still didn't know English. So he actually learned the English, his English lines phonetically and just memorized the sound of them and did the whole movie that way
Jeez.
without actually knowing what he was saying or English itself. Like
Was this
that
Assassins?
that is no, it wasn't Assassins, but that's my
Good
number
movie.
2 for one of his favorite performances of his. But
Yeah.
I thought that was great. Like that shows like dedication to his craft, like you know, getting arrested and still keeping on and going, not knowing English hold him back from a role, and actually just memorizing the sounds to make it sound like he knew English.
Yeah.
So I
Pretty good.
definitely big respect for Antonio.
Okay. How about you, Chuck?
He banged Selma Hayek.
Yes, he did. Shout out to that. His best performance yet.
Best performance yet.
Assassin was good. His Zorro, man. That's when I first met Catherine Zeta-Jones. Was in that one. I was like, oh, damn.
He banged
Zorro.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yes, he did. Zorro, great. Desperado, Puss in Boots. He did really good as Puss in Boots, man. Puss
in Boots.
in Boots. He did good. One of the very first things I ever saw him in was a Spanish film called Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown. You guys ever seen that one? It's done by
I've heard
Pedro.
the title, haven't watched
Pedro
it.
Almodovar did it, but really good movie. That's when I saw it. It's like it's a funny comedy. I really recommend people watching it, but it was really good. First thing I ever saw him in. He was even good just recently when he did Uncharted. I loved his character.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing with Antonio, man. When Antonio comes on the screen, he's so electric to me. I always smile when I see him. I love Antonio Banderas, man. He's been in so many good movies. Assassins. I loved him in Assassins. There's still that gif when he's kind of leaning and he's like doing that smirk.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
He was good as a villain in Expendables too.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
And he bangs with Sylvester Stallone.
Yes, he did. No, Antonio is always like anytime, like especially back then, you know, if you're trying to talk to a female, whatever it is that's non-Hispanic, it's always the Antonio impression that we do. It's that Spanish flair, man. So let's go back to female. Let's talk about Penelope Cruz.
Well, Penelope, you know, some of the tidbits that I had read about her is that like when she got her start, she beat out 300 girls at a talent agency audition to get like her first start. This is someone again, kind of like Antonio. She's just like been around for a while, doing both you know international and you know American movies, fully dedicated. She for a movie she really wanted to do. She wanted to do it so bad. She learned Italian, and then she won basically the Italian equivalent of an Oscar for that movie, just learning the language from that.
Yeah.
So like this is someone dedicated to her craft, definitely gives, you know, Latinos a good name. I think probably one of my favorite roles from her was Vanilla Sky.
Okay. How about you, Chuck? Who did she bang?
Javier Bardem.
Yeah.
I don't.
You're not a fan?
Nah, not really.
Okay. Well, it's like her acting, or just her?
I just feel like she's always Penelope Cruz.
Okay.
Just like Tom Hanks is always Tom Hanks.
Stop it. Stop it. That's not the same. Okay. I liked her in the movie Volver. In that one, I know she was nominated. I think she won, right? I'm not 100% sure, but I know it was like a huge thing. Again, Pedro Almodovar. She was good in Sahara. She was good in Blow. She was even good in Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. I thought she was like the only good thing of that movie. She did good in that. Yeah, Penelope Cruz has been solid, man. She's been good.
She's got one. She's got a Academy Award.
It must be Volver then.
No, it was
no.
Vicky.
Vicky
Cristina.
Barcelona.
Yeah, I think she got an Academy Award for that one.
Next character, let's do S.A. Morales. Chuck, hit us with that one. We got you back enthused.
Yeah, Bob. iconic. He could have just done the Bob character from La Bamba and nothing else the rest of his life,
Mhm.
and he's still a fucking legend. Iconic
Yeah.
character. That was the best character in that fucking amazing movie. It wasn't even
Yes.
Richie Valens. He wasn't even the best character.
No.
Bob. That movie
Yes.
should have been called La Bob.
Bob.
Bob. It should have
Le
been called
Bob.
Bob.
The
Le
L Bob.
Baba.
La
Yeah.
Bamba. I was trying to like put that together. I'm like, that has to fit somehow. And but that character, dude, iconic, legend, like it makes the whole fucking movie.
Mhm.
Everybody knows fucking Bob. Everybody here where I live knows fucking Bob.
Yeah.
They even know Bob, like Bob, the real Bob, is alive here. And
Oh,
even
yeah.
he thinks Isai Morales did Bob better than he's Bob.
Yeah. And that's a shout out to Lou Diamond Phillips, who did a great job as Richie Valens. Like he did a great job.
Yeah,
But
honorary
S.A. Morales
Latino.
was just so
Yeah.
good, man. He was so good in that role. He elevated it. He did so well in that role, man. His dramatic acting in that was so good. I grew up watching that movie.
Dude, in that line at the end when he yells out Richie during Sleepwalkers, like that's why I cried. I didn't cry
Yeah.
because Lou Diamond Phillips died.
Mm-mm.
I cried
Bob.
because Bob cried.
I mean, that's fucking Bob. That's it. I have to. That's for sure my favorite roles of his is memorable. The fact is, like, how many fucking years has it been, and you still remember that character?
Yeah.
You know, in that one character, he was able to show. He could a character who was funny, so he showed comedy. He showed his dramatic chops. You know, the character had his badass moments. There was such range just with that one character that showed like his ability. So you watch that and you get an idea of what this guy can do like for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
And I think like one of the things to remember is like here's someone who's understands the struggle that has been for Hispanics in the media and getting that presence.
Mhm.
So, as he's built his career, he actually co-founded like a foundation that the purpose of that is to increase the presence of Hispanics in media and communication, in Hollywood in general. This is someone who is like, yes, he has his career still going. I think he's gonna be in like the Mission Impossible's coming now, the two coming up. So
Mhm.
he's still going, but he was able to give back to like his community and try to get other people to go through the same success that he is going through.
Yeah. And even when he still pops up, like I was watching the show Ozark, still didn't finish it yet, but he's great in that role, man. Like this guy's such a great actor and he has that intensity and he feels like a Theo. He feels like an uncle that we've all have. Like he really does. He breathes, he smells like our people. And you see that on screen. So shout out to Morales, man. He's been around forever. Bob's been such an iconic character for us as Latinos because we just didn't get a lot of representation of this of us in movies, especially one that's more like widescreen and viewed. So the fact that we got something like that felt so true, like shout out, man. We ate that shit up because otherwise we talk about Blood In, Blood Out, right? I love Blood In, Blood Out. I've seen that movie a bunch. I'm sure most of the people watching this have never seen Blood In, Blood Out. I'm assuming they haven't. But La Bamba, that was more widestream. That's stuff that you would see being on syndication television. I'd never seen Blood In, Blood Out on anything. We'd have to watch it through a DVD. I think he's gonna go grab a Blood In, Blood Out. Is it a toy? Does he have an action figure of Blood In,
He
Blood Out?
died. He died.
Yeah, that's what
Still
I'm
in the
saying,
wrapping.
man.
That's
I
a
haven't
collectible.
opened yet. Dude, I bought fucking
No.
10 of these last year for Christmas and I
Yeah.
fucking gave them out to people for Christmas.
Did you? Nice.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Kept one for
Yeah,
myself,
man.
of course.
of course. All right, so let's cut to our next person. Let's do Jennifer Lopez. Let's do J-Lo.
Jenny
Who wants
from
to
the
go first?
block.
Chuck.
She banged Ben Affleck.
Is that a good thing or a bad
I
thing?
would. No, I meant I would J-Lo, not Ben Affleck. Tom.
Sure. want to talk about some? Okay, I know Out of Sight. I know you fucking loved Out of Sight.
Fucking one of the best movies ever made in the
There you
history of
go.
cinema,
Hit
dude.
us. Hit us with it. How
Yeah,
good was she in
fucking
that role?
for whatever she does that I don't care for, she gets a fucking lifetime pass because of Out of Sight. She was awesome in it. The movie's fucking awesome. Everybody go watch it again if you haven't seen it. I feel like some of you guys don't like it. Does one of you guys not like Out of Sight?
It was okay.
No, I like it. It's good. I mean, we don't
was
hold it
okay.
to the pedestal that you hold it to.
Yeah, we don't hold
It
to the
was-
same
it was
pedestal. I don't
okay.
think. I don't think it's
Yeah.
that. I like better movies. I like The Cell from her better than I like Out of Sight.
You're fucking joking, right?
No, I like The Cell. I think The Cell's decent.
Sounds fucking garbage, dude.
What? I like it. Vincent D'Onofrio, man, he's good in that movie. He was such like a weirdo. I like
Dude,
it.
J-Lo. She was a fly girl, right? Is that how it started? She was a fly girl on In Living Color?
Yeah,
Yeah.
She was one of
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
Well,
good
I
for
think
her,
one
dude.
one of the things about J-Lo that I have to give her credit for is her versatility. She started off as a dancer, as a fly girl, she moved on, then going into music, going into acting. So she kind of became that triple threat in that she was successful in three different like types of avenues. So I gotta give her respect for that. I mean, she's still going. She really hasn't aged at all. Still looking
Like
great.
Jared Leto, dude. Fucking vampires, dude.
Yeah.
Baby
So,
blood. Baby
but
blood.
yeah, gotta give her that. I think I agree with that. And probably my favorite movie that she's been in was The Cell. A lot of her movies, they're just not for me. But that was a decent horror movie.
Okay. I'll give. I liked her in Money Train. She did pretty good in Money Train.
Oh, Money Train.
Yeah, she did good in that. Jersey Girl. I'm not giving a shout out to Jersey Girl. It's just funny how after Geely came out and it tanked so badly because everybody was so over Bennifer, they released Jersey Girl. But I remember with the way that they marketed, it was already getting so much flack that Kevin Smith had to say, no, it's okay. She dies early in the movie because it was supposed to be a surprise. You're supposed to think it was supposed to be a Ben Affleck J-Lo movie. It wasn't. She dies early, and it's supposed to be Liv Taylor that ends up coming in. So they had to market that and do the big reveal during promotions, and the movie still took a hit because people were so over it.
Was the movie bad? I don't remember it.
It wasn't. Yeah, it was when Kevin Smith. I do give props from Kevin Smith for going back to the drama role or the drama route because Chasing Amy. I love Chasing Amy.
Best movie
I
ever.
think Chasing Amy is one of his greatest movies, and he tried going something like that. It was a very grown up version, so I give him props for that. Way much over Tusk. I'm not even gonna get into my rant on Tusk. I'll leave it at that. But huge shout out for J-Lo. She did the movie Selena. Selena added so much credibility to us as Latinos again being represented. She did a very, very good job as Selena, and she had to wear a butt padding to play Selena.
Like, who would have thought?
J-Lo. J-Lo had to wear a butt padding to play Selena, so still wasn't good enough. What does that say, Chuck?
Mexicans have better booties? I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. All right. Let's hit them with the next one. We got, you know what? I'm going to say, okay, let's do Rosario Dawson.
Rosario Dawson, I think one of the things to highlight about her career is that, she's touched different genres when she's done it. She did like the Grindhouse. She did some of your dramatic roles. She's done video game voiceovers. She's doing Star Wars. She's done a lot of TV. She's done movies. So she's gone into different avenues of like film and TV and touching different genres. So there's a versatility to her, also. So I think like that's been one of the strongest highlights of her career so far.
How about you,
yeah.
Chuck?
My favorite movie from her is did you guys ever see The 25th Hour?
I did a while ago. I did, yeah.
Did
I
I?
totally
I
forgot she
don't
was in
know.
that.
Yeah, with Edward Norton. It's a Spike Lee movie.
I forgot she was
Spike
in
Lee
that.
joint. Yeah, she was good in that. I liked her in that. That was such a great movie too. So she's in Clerks. She's just all the Clerks, and she's with Kevin Smith now, right? So not with
Clerks,
him, but
Clerks 2 and Clerks 3. Yeah, she did that. Okay, so Rosario Dawson, she did the movie Kids. fucked
Oh,
up
that's
movie.
right.
Kids.
She was in Kid.
Yep.
That's her.
First time
Oh,
I ever saw her.
man.
If you've ever seen Kids, you'll never watch it again.
Yeah,
Nope.
and if you've
Never.
never seen
It's
Kids,
never happened
don't
again.
fucking watch it.
Yeah. Sin City. Ooh, Sin City. Sin
Yeah, she
City.
was
She
good.
did good in
Disney.
Sin City.
I really liked her in Daredevil. She's part of the MCU,
Mhm.
but I think in Daredevil that was probably her best performance out of Luke Cage and Iron Fist and all her other appearances.
Yeah.
She hook up with Matt Murdock?
The
Yes,
show.
yes,
Dude, he gets chicks.
yeah, he does.
You got
Yeah.
She-Hulk, right?
Yeah, he bangs She-Hulk too.
She did the movie Rent, which is the adaptation of the Broadway play. She did good in that, I felt like. And then
Yeah,
Zombieland 2, double tap.
7 pounds.
7
Two.
pounds, she did good. Yeah. Rosario's been acting for a minute, man. Shout out to her. She's been doing really good. She does great acting. You know, she's somebody that, like, I want to see do a little more.
She was in
you know.
Alexander with Colin Farrell.
She was. That movie came out right around the time that Troy did. Remember that? And they were competing.
God, that happens all the time,
Dude,
right?
Paul Blart and Report and or what is it?
The
Report
Prestige and The
Report.
Illusionist.
The two
All
White
those.
House movies, White House Down and Olympus Has Fallen.
Olympus Has Fallen, yeah. Oh, Armageddon, Deep Impact.
Yeah.
And you
I
know
gotta
what's
say,
funny? Every time we mention that, there's always one that's clearly stands it and the other one that doesn't. Deep Impact, Armageddon. Always.
So I gotta say, Alexander is still to this day probably one of my worst theater experiences.
Same.
For a movie.
She's
because
naked in that though.
It wasn't just bad; it was like 3 hours of bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a director's cut too that's like 4 hours of bad.
I wanted to save this last one that we can hit on. John Leguizamo, because John Leguizamo has been one of the loudest vocal in a good way for Latinos in filmmaking, and he's still doing it today, despite him saying controversial things that might get some backlash on it. I still love what he's doing for our people, and this man has been around for a long time, even getting roles that weren't necessarily made for a Latino at all, and he still ended up taking it. So who wants to start us off with John Leguizamo?
Oh, I love John Leguizamo. I remember when I was in high school, actually even before high school, I think it was in 8th grade when I was like first starting theaters and doing acting. I used one of his monologues from Mamba Mouth as like my audition monologue for years. I used that one over and over again. I'm like, I love this. It was such a good, strong, get your attention monologue. So
do you remember any of it? Like any of it at all? Like the intro?
Oh no, it's been
Don't
so long.
lie, dude. You know it. Go.
Just a little bit.
Just a little.
Come on. It's been so long. But I think the part of that monologue that was always the hit is when he gives his name and it's like 15, 16 like different names.
Oh yeah.
At once.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that I love that that Mamba Mouth Spicorama. Like here's a guy who was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna do one-man shows, fully dedicated to Latino culture and making fun of the stereotypes and all of that. And that's what he became big on was, he bet on himself and his own talent. Going forward. So I will always have huge respect for John Leguizamo and his talent.
He's Benny Blanco from the Bronx, bro.
Benny Blanco from the motherfucking
that is
Bronx,
it,
man.
Dude. You look like him right now, dude. You look like him right now,
Benny
dude.
Blanco from the Bronx, man.
Benny Blanco from the Bronx, dude. That's it. He can do no harm, dude.
Yes,
so,
man.
I love John Leguizamo, dude. So.
Dude, I think just to be Latino, you have to have love for John Leguizamo. Like even just saying his name, we all just kind of like smile. Like it's such like a warm, comforting feel.
Dude, he's Luigi, bro.
He's Luigi, man. That's what I was
gonna
say.
The Violator, bro. He's the clown.
Yes, the Violator.
That's what I was gonna say. In Spawn, man, and that's one of the roles that like it didn't need to be a Latino, but he took that role anyways. He did good. I thought he did well in that role.
Oh yeah, the movie sucked, but he did awesome.
The movie sucked, but he did such a good job in it.
What was it? One thing I did want to point out, it's not one of the movies that he did, but here it was him trying to get more Latinos involved.
Mm-hmm.
It only lasted one season, but he had a
Also
all
bugging.
Latino variety show where he was just like, "Hey, let's get some other faces out there, bring some attention to others," which is something we need to see more of that within the Latinos that have gotten there, have gotten the exposure. Is kind of bringing others with them along the line, because Hollywood is not going to do it on their own. Unless they have no choice, they would rather cast Franco as a Hispanic than put a Hispanic in there. So
Yeah, it is, man. And that show was awesome. House of Buggin'. Like, I loved it. I thought he did a good job with it. I was kind of sad that they, canceled after one season, because it was such a nice, refreshing taste that to see our people and us being represented in comedy. Comedy that was, I think it was like on Fox or something. It was like on a big network, and like we're getting broadcasted, nationwide. Like, that was awesome. Romeo and Juliet, he did really good in Romeo and Juliet.
yeah.
I loved his
Moulin Rouge, he
character.
was good too.
Dude, Moulin Rouge, he
Oh
did good.
yeah,
Carlito's
Moulin
Way,
Rouge.
as we already mentioned, he was good in the John Wick movies. He did that voice Sid in Ice Age. He did good there. And of course, Tu Wong Fu, thanks for everything. Julie Newmar. Say what you want about that movie. The three actors, Wesley Snipes, John Leguizamo, and Patrick Swayze, fucking crushed it. They crushed their roles, and John Leguizamo completely stole that movie. He was so damn good in that movie. So shout out to that, man. My whole family would get mad if I never mentioned that movie. Because like my mom, my sister, my aunts, like everybody loved that movie. So
I feel John Leguizamo, doesn't matter what role he's in, you're never gonna fully overshadow him in a scene. You might be
ever.
on par with him, things like that, but in a scene, he's always gonna bring attention to his character. Right? Even something as simple as his character in John Wick, which we're there to watch Keanu and John Wick. When he was in the scenes with John Leguizamo, you were paying attention to John Leguizamo's like character for the little couple of minutes that he was on screen.
Yeah,
Dude,
he
he
was in
held.
Kick-Ass 2.
Yes.
He
Yeah.
plays like he's dude. You're my evil Alfred. He's I'm your fucking butler.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he
Yeah,
did good, man. And like what you were saying, he held his own with Al Pacino and Carlito's Way. I'm Benny Blanco from the Bronx. Remember Benny Blanco from the Bronx? Like that shit got stuck in your head. And Al Pacino is the fucking man. And this dude still held him. And you still quote John Leguizamo in that movie. That's what we still do.
Yeah.
Always.
He has a movie coming up December. He's in the Santa Claus movie. He plays the villain in it.
He's gonna be good in that, man.
Yeah.
A couple of quick shout outs I wanted to give. Edward James Olmos, the OG triple OG that we've had as Latinos in film. Raul Julia, man, he did so good. I just rewatched The Addams Family the other day.
You just rewatched Street Fighter 2 or Street Fighter?
Yeah.
Did you?
No, I'm saying you just rewatched.
Oh, no. Addams Family, though. But, man, he's so good, Raul Julia. And even Danny Trejo, man. That just been in, like, fucking 1,000 fucking movies after serving so many years
And he has
in
a
prison.
good taco restaurant.
Yes, he does. He does.
Couple of shout outs from me real quick. Cheech and Chong.
Oh, hell yeah.
Just want to give
Cheech
them
Marin,
a shout out.
man.
Like, dude, because they had some pretty good movies. Next movie, Up in Smoke.
Up in Smoke. I still quote that.
Yeah, like
the girl with doing the go, oof.
Yeah.
She's there doing it. It was the Ajax that she inhaled.
Dude.
I love that one. Man, that's a toothpick. Man, that's not a toothpick. And he's there filling. Man, it is a toothpick. When it's a thing and he's like sitting there trying to fill around for the joint in his pocket. And he goes, hold on. No, that's my dick.
Yeah. Dude, in the whole, there's a Mexican American. Like, dude.
I love that movie.
And then kind of a funny sort of shout out is Hector. You guys remember Hector from Fast and Furious?
He plays Hector in every movie.
He plays Hector in everything. If you look at his
IMDb,
yep. Hector. Dude, shout out to Hector, dude.
Training Day, man.
You know, I'm surprised you're not mentioning Chuck giving a nod to Jimmy Smits.
Oh,
Jimmy Smits, man.
Yeah, he was in The Shield.
Yeah, man.
Oh, it's Sons of Anarchy. Sons of Anarchy.
Sons of Anarchy, yeah.
Or that.
Sons of Anarchy, Star Wars. That guy, good for him, dude.
Yeah, he's been a bunch of things. Really good, really good. Under the radar actor too.
Yeah, man.
You need a good Latino to give you some street cred? Call Jimmy Smith, bro.
Jimmy Smith, man. All right, guys, let's hit them. What do you guys want to do? What's on the queue? Let's hit them with what's on the queue.
La Bamba. Go watch La Bamba. Watch it again.
Bastard. That
And
was
then watch
so-
it again. Yes!
All right, then I'm gonna throw in go Desperado. We knock off 2 people off this list in one movie.
Desperado. I'm gonna do Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown. I'm gonna do the Pedro Almodovar movie. It's a Spanish film, but it's so good, and it had young Antonio Banderas. So shout out to that. All right, guys. Thanks for watching another episode of Not a Strong Start. You can follow us, like, subscribe, comment. Please set up your notifications. We are continuously dropping bonus material for our YouTube channel, Not a Strong Start. You can listen to us where you listen to all your podcasts at Not a Strong Start. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Not a Strong Start. I'm your host, La Raza. Follow me at King_Sangre.
I'm Jose. You can find me at This Is Mi Nombre.
You can find them anywhere because there's Jose's everywhere.
In front of Home Depots.
Find them in front of Home Depot. Shit. You're such a dick.
We can do it because it's our people.
Yeah, dude. Like, I should change that. I'm Carlos. Find me at Chat Ratwell 12.
There you go. You can see us everywhere. We're breeding. Now is our time, people. Time for our podcast to become the #1 Latino podcast.